Hello, I'm Ryan. Welcome to Legendary Tractors. So, do you ever scroll through Facebook Marketplace looking at legendary tractors? Dreaming about some of the special tractors that you would love to have in your collection but will probably never be able to afford? Why won't you be able to afford them? Well, that's because you're a farmer. That's why. Well then, let's do something different for a video today. Let's look at Facebook together. Here's today's first marketplace tractor. It is a 966 International. Unfortunately, the seller did not give us a lot of information. I guess he wanted to let the pictures do the talking. What they did say is 966 International. Hours are unknown. The seller is asking $12,500. That might be at the high end of reasonable, but it seems reasonable nonetheless. So let's look this over a bit more closely, shall we? It looks to me that the TA has either been deleted or it did not come with one. The lever is missing. The sneakers are starting to show a little bit of weather checking. The hole in the drawbar looks pretty good though, and it looks like there's only one SCV. The rear tires look to be 34-inch, which certainly isn't as desirable. This tractor is very clean. The sheet metal is really nice. Overall, I'd say that it's a very well cared for machine. So, 95 PTO horsepower tractor, built sometime between 1971 and 1975. 21,017 were built. Original price was $18,000 in 1976. So is it really a legendary tractor? There are plenty of ways that this can be measured. I think the factors that I like to use to judge a legendary tractor are historical impact, innovation, reliability, influence on competitors, collector demand, and emotional legacy. Historical impact is relatively low. All of the features of this tractor can be found on a Farmall 806 made 10 years earlier. Innovation? Well, again, it was an upgraded 806. Reliability? The thing is dang near bulletproof, so it scores well for that. Influence on competitors? Well, Deere was rocking out the 30 series by this point. I don't think this thing made Case, Ford, or Oliver change their models either. For collectors, these are well sought after machines, and the IH guys love them. So it definitely has a positive emotional legacy. Overall, I give it a score of 65 out of 100, which makes the tractor interesting, but probably not as legendary as others that are on Marketplace. Next up, we have a John Deere 4620, also listed for $12,500. The seller states 1972 side console, new batteries and rebuilt starter this spring. Built rock shaft, rebuilt brake valve 2 years ago. Pioneer SCVs, 9,286 hours, 18,438 rear duals. 1116 4-rib front, 404 intercooled turbo, 8-speed synchro. Message for a video of it running and driving. Let's take a walk around the unit. I love that it has a ROPS with a canopy. I just think that it gives a tractor a lot more style, and if you've ever run one on a hot sunny day, you'll come to appreciate the shade. The chrome stack ought to give it about another 100 horsepower. Looks like the owner has given it some additional lighting on the front grille, along with replacing the original lights with LED fixtures as well. The fenders and the steps suggest that the unit originally had a cab enclosure, which has since been removed. Radiator, belts, and hoses seem to be in good condition. Here's a shot of the reman starter. Judging by the residue, the SCVs leak or have leaked in the past. That might have been fixed when they were changed over to the Pioneer style. Tires look pretty decent as well. All in all, a nice looking tractor, which is likely a good value at the price that is being asked. The 4620 was built in 1971 and 1972. Original price was $15,000 in 1972. There were 6,928 4620 tractors built, of which 5,045 had the synchro range transmission like this unit. In a way, the 4620 was a bit of a placeholder for John Deere until they could get the 4630 to market, so it scores low for historical impact. If this unit had the 8-speed power shift that Deere offered, I would score it a bit higher on innovation than I'm going to score it with the synchro. Now, reliability-wise, these tractors could hold their own, so I'll give it a good score for that. I don't think that this tractor had much influence on the competition. In fact, the 4520, 4620 tractors were more likely to be a reaction to the competition in that AC, IH, Oliver, and Ford all had 130 plus horsepower row crop tractors on the market before Deere. Is there collector demand for the 4620? You bet there is, so it scores high there. Finally, emotional legacy. It certainly is not the same as the 4020, but I think farmers for the most part really like these tractors. Overall, I'd give this tractor a score of 70 on the legendary tractor scale. Our final tractor today is an Allis-Chalmers 190 XT. Asking price is $11,500. The seller states, Allis-Chalmers 190 XT diesel. New rims, Firestone 23-degree rubber, fresh oil change and fuel filter. Injection pump and injectors just done. Showing 6,287 hours on a functioning hour meter. No guarantee of hours. Dual remotes. I would bet that the tires and rims are north of $4,000 alone, so I think that the asking price is pretty darn reasonable. Cosmetically, this tractor has earned every single scratch. But look closely, the tin work is pretty darn straight. It is a later model, as it does not have the parallel bars in the grille and has the external air cleaner. The fact that it has a grille at all says a lot about the care that it has received over the years. The seat appears to have been replaced sometime along the way. At least it looks to be in decent condition, and it looks pretty darn comfortable. The only thing that the seller does not mention is whether the transmission stays in gear. Easy enough to find out though. Take it for a test drive in third gear. Wind the throttle up and then let off. If there's an issue, they will usually jump out of gear. There were 22,419 Allis-Chalmers 190 XTs tractors built between 1964 and 1971. Original price was $8,672. On the legendary tractor scale, this tractor scores an 80. Its historical impact was pretty good. The 190 XT changed everything for Allis-Chalmers. When it debuted, it became one of the first production row crop tractors in the 100 horsepower range. Innovation scores high too, because it really refined the Allis traction booster system and really made these tractors pullers. Reliability is a bit of a weak point in that the transmissions sometimes had some issues, which typically was the result of the nut behind the wheel. Influence on competitors is pretty high also because of the traction booster system. Competitors built similar systems because of it. Collector demand is high. Emotional legacy is also high, as it defined Allis for a generation. The 190 XT gave Allis-Chalmers serious credibility in the horsepower race. Many farmers still remember the 190 XT as one of the strongest pulling tractors of its era. It wasn't perfect, but it was exciting, and exciting tractors often become legendary. Looking at these three marketplace finds, it's easy to see why they're still bringing over $10,000 50 years later. None of them are perfect. None of them are museum pieces, but every one of them represents a machine that helped shape American agriculture. That's really the difference between an old tractor and a legendary tractor. The legendary ones never stop working, and they never stop being remembered. So, what do you think? Which one would you take home? The International 966, the John Deere 4620, or the Allis-Chalmers 190 XT? Leave your choice in the comments. And if you enjoy this new Marketplace series, let me know. I've already got my eye on several more legendary tractors waiting to be featured. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you have a great day.